I would have thought this. What crime did I commit? Being a black man in a Cadillac, stopped for a minor traffic offense by a group of racist police officers looking to do an after hearing the defendant and his fellow officers joke about his injuries as they were wiping blood off their uniforms with disinfectant. 2015. Please be quiet in my courtroom. How does this happen?
I'm not a bad guy, man. In the car. I'm not a bad guy. Please.
Nearly 1 month after he was sentenced in a racist attack in Nashville, Officer Michael Reynolds of the NYPD has resigned. News Channel 5's Matthew Torres has reaction from the victim's attorney, who's disappointed it took this long.
This is Michael Reynolds, a police officer from New York City. According to court records, he arrived in Nashville on a Sunday morning in July 2018. He was part of a group of 7 men, including 2 other New York City officers, who were on a 3-night bachelor party trip. Approximately 18 hours later, Officer Reynolds, who is white, forcefully kicked open the door of a black woman's residence while he was intoxicated and filled with rage. He proceeded to threaten her and her sons using racist slurs and offensive language. In his angry outburst, he even made a disturbing statement saying, "I'll break every bone in your neck." After the incident, he quickly fled to his nearby Airbnb rental just before the police arrived.
I understand that he has claimed that this was an accident, but you cannot accidentally kick in somebody's door. You cannot accidentally threaten to break their necks. You cannot accidentally hurl racial slurs.
A part of the incident was caught on camera from a house next door.
Reynolds terrorized the home while Halburton and her children were still inside.
As a consequence of the incident, Reynolds pleaded no contest to 4 misdemeanors and was subsequently sentenced to 15 days in jail and 3 years of probation.
No justice! No peace! No justice!
Reynolds' resignation comes 1 day after a rally in New York demanding the NYPD to fire him.
Is to demand answers from the NYPD about why Michael Reynolds is still employed.
However, even after the sentencing, he continued to serve as a police officer, which caused a significant backlash against the New York Police Department. Over 10,000 people expressed their disapproval by signing an online petition that called for his immediate dismissal and expressed support for Kenise Halliburton, the woman whose home he invaded.
There's been weeks of mounting pressure and an online petition garnering 12,000 votes. Even NBA star LeBron James weighing in on his sentencing with this tweet. While Horwitz likes the result, he still questions why the police department didn't take action early on.
In an email statement, Kenise Halliburton's lawyer, Daniel Horwitz, described Michael Reynolds as a violent and dangerous racist who should not be entrusted with a badge or a gun. He emphasized that Ms. Halliburton strongly urges the New York Police Department to terminate Reynolds' employment without delay to prevent any further harm caused by his actions.
A danger to a lot of people when police officers who lack impulse control and integrity are on the force.
Devora Kaye, who serves as the acting deputy commissioner for public information, stated that Officer Reynolds would not be entitled to receive any pension or health benefits, and he would also be prohibited from carrying a firearm. She emphasized that his actions completely contradict the values and standards that the New York City Police Department expects and demands from its officers. In court, Officer Reynolds offered an apology for the incident and asserted that he had no recollection of it due to excessive alcohol consumption. During his testimony, he stated, "I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I consumed too much alcohol." This is Eric DeValconaire. He used to be a police officer in Kansas City and was found guilty of killing a black man in 2019. The victim was backing a pickup truck into his own garage when the incident occurred.
The court is further compelled to find beyond a reasonable doubt that when defendant shot and killed Cameron Lamb
On December 3, 2019, A fatal shooting occurred involving Eric DeValconaire and his partner in response to a traffic incident with a red pickup truck in Kansas City. According to the indictment, a police helicopter had observed the red pickup truck driving and entering a driveway at the rear of a home. Without a legal warrant and with their firearms drawn, the officers, who were dressed in plain clothes and wearing police department vests, arrived at the residence and entered the backyard. At the time of the incident, the victim, identified as Lamb, was slowly backing the pickup truck down a ramp into the basement garage. DeValconaire's partner was positioned on Lamb's side of the truck and had a clear view of him upon arrival. The officers attempted to instruct Lamb to stop, but it remains unclear whether he heard their commands, as stated in the indictment. DeValconaire, believing he saw Lamb's left hand reaching for a gun and pointing it at his partner, fired 4 shots at Lamb. Eric DeValconaire received a sentence of 3 years for the involuntary manslaughter of Cameron Lamb and an additional 6 years for armed criminal actions. This is William Melendez. He was a police officer in Michigan who was found guilty of assaulting a black man during a regular traffic stop. There is a video showing him punching Floyd Dent multiple times during the incident.
With his hands extended out of his driver's window, he was grabbed out, thrown to the ground, and struck 16 times in the head.
The entire incident was recorded on the police officer's dashboard camera, and it's really disturbing to see. In court, Judge Vonda Evans expressed her strong disapproval during the sentencing, as it's easy to understand that such actions are difficult to tolerate.
I would have thought this: what crime did I commit? Being a black man in a Cadillac, stopped for a minor traffic offense by a group of racist police officers looking to do a after hearing the defendant and his fellow officers joke about his injuries as they were wiping blood off their uniforms with disinfectant. 2015. Please be quiet in my courtroom. How does this happen?
After being sentenced, William apologized to the victim's family. However, it was evident from his facial expressions that he was not genuinely remorseful for his actions.
Dent and his family, I am truly sorry.
The defense claimed that Dent resisted arrest and argued that Melendez's use of force was justified. However, the jury disagreed and found Melendez guilty of misconduct in office and assault with the intent to cause serious harm. He was acquitted of the charge of assault by strangulation. During Melendez's sentencing in February, the judge remarked, "The dashboard camera, which was meant to protect you, ended up being the evidence that convicted you." The judge strongly condemned the violent act, describing it as disgusting. Melendez received a prison sentence ranging from 13 months to 10 years. Ultimately, he served 14 months, exceeding the minimum sentence by 1 month. This is a police officer from Harris County, Texas. He wrongly identified a black father as a suspected criminal from another state and attempted to arrest him in front of his own home. The officer is captured on video arresting the innocent man.
Know my name and tell him I have a warrant. What did he do? That's what I'm saying. For what? For what?
I'm from Louisiana.
For what? For what?
Yeah.
I don't even live in Louisiana, so how would I have a... You don't know my name, so how can you tell me I have an open warrant in Louisiana?
Sir, stop.
Clarence,
Calvary coming.
Okay, but you know
According to Clarence Evans, he was on his front lawn with his son and daughter when a police officer approached him and falsely stated that his dog did not belong to him. When Evans informed the officer that he had the necessary paperwork to prove ownership of the dog, the officer proceeded to ask for his identification. However, Evans politely declined to provide his ID. Despite the refusal, the officer attempted to handcuff him, mistakenly referring to him as Reg.
You just put him in front of my house and then I don't trust, because you shaking like you scared or something.
Okay.
Trust you shaking like you scared.
He don't live in Louisiana.
I don't even live in Louisiana. How the hell would I have a warrant in Louisiana?
Quentin, you already said your name was that.
My name is not Quentin. What the is wrong with you?
Sir, his name is not Quentin.
Then let's see the ID and we'll be done.
Texas law says one doesn't need to provide ID to police unless arrested.
No.
Clint.
No, I'm not gonna be the next you kill.
No.
No.
Stop.
His name is not Quentin.
Then
Quentin.
let's do this and be done. I got no probable cause. I got
You
your
just
picture.
stopped in front of my house.
Yes, I know who you are.
It's you know what's my name? Man, that. You shaking like you scared. I'm not gonna let you put me in handcuffs.
Please stop. Please stop.
My name is not no fucking Quentin. You don't even know my name and tell me I got a warrant in Louisiana?
Okay. Yes. You want
Do
to
I look like a...
You want me to
Show
show
me
you
the
the
picture.
picture?
Show me the picture.
Okay, wait.
Just walk with me.
Nah,
No, walk with me.
No.
Tell him walk with me.
He's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere.
I need your supervisor or
I
somebody
am the
else.
supervisor. Come on.
Well, let me see your stripes. Well, I need
Come on,
I need
let's
somebody
walk
over
in front of the car.
No, you're not
Walk
gonna get
in
me to
front
your
of the
car.
car.
No.
Sir, sir.
Put my yard on my property. That.
Calm down. Just calm
You
down.
stop. You stop.
Who are you looking for?
That's what
His
I'm
name
saying.
is
My
not
name
Quentin.
Quentin.
Let me see your
You
ID.
think I'm from because I got dreads or something?
No.
You just pulled up in front of my house
What?
and told me I got a warrant in Louisiana. So what? That's my dog.
That's our dog.
You
That's our dog. Go in the house.
Look, man.
Sir, that's our dog.
Don't you touching me while you shaking. You need to step back and calm down. No, that. Like,
Get my phone out of the car.
There you got him running.
Get my phone out of the
Calm
car.
down.
Here's the deal. Doesn't that look a lot like you?
No, that don't look like
That's
me.
not him.
What's wrong with you, man? What you trying to say? Because I got dreads and I'm black, that's me?
No.
That's not him.
She can see that's not me from over there.
Head.
No,
That's your ID.
what?
Stop.
Evans says the picture was of a black man with locks in his 50s.
Stop.
Two of y'all is gonna take over.
Please stop. Please leave him alone, please. No, please, that is not him. Please leave him alone.
Man, get out my
I
yard,
need to
man.
report on this. I need to report.
Nah, you need to get the fuck out of my yard. You just said I'm somebody named Quentin. He got dreads and he black.
Come on.
What the is that?
Okay, come on.
Nah, fuck that.
Okay,
Now you want to leave, right?
No, I want to do a report on this.
No, you need to get somebody here that's over you because you just made the biggest mistake.
Why?
How the you pull in front of my yard because I'm black with dreads and tell me I got a warrant?
Okay.
You
No, he just
racist.
my kids was out here.
One of my fucking kids.
The police conducted a further investigation into the incident, but it seemed like the case lost momentum and didn't progress much. Clarence Evans decided not to pursue a lawsuit against the officer who attempted to arrest him. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that the officer did make a mistake. It's worth highlighting that Black Americans are arrested at a rate 2.5 times higher than white Americans, indicating that the officer's decision to arrest Evans was likely influenced by his skin color. This is Derek Chauvin, who is widely recognized as one of the most notorious racist police officers globally. The world was deeply shaken by the tragic death of George Floyd, which occurred as a result of a horrifying incident where Derek Chauvin callously murdered him. This shocking event was captured on camera. On May 25, 2020, the Minneapolis police officer used his knee to forcefully hold George's neck against the ground for a distressing duration of 9.5 minutes. Throughout the ordeal, George pleaded, "I can't breathe," highlighting the severity of the situation.
I'm not a bad guy, man. In the car. I'm not a bad guy. You ain't gonna win. Please, officer. Please. Please, man. Please. Hold him in. No. You take the seat. Hold him in. I can't choke. I can't breathe, officer. Please. Fine. My wrist, man. Please. I can't take that, man. I can't. I'm laying on the ground.
You know that's bogus right now, bro. You know it's bogus. You can't even look at me like a man because you a bum, bro.
Mama, I love you. Lisa, I love you.
You got Howell?
My kids, I love them.
You gonna choke him like that? Well, I know that's what you want to do. I'm not scared of you, bro. You're fucking...
The video recording spread across the globe, prompting a surge of social justice protests. This brutal act of murder triggered a worldwide reflection on issues of police brutality and racism. Derek Chauvin faced charges of murder and was ultimately convicted on 3 counts: second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. As a result, he received a prison sentence of 22 years and 6 months.
1. Based on the verdict of the jury finding you guilty of unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony under Minnesota Statute 609.19 subdivision 2 paren 1. It is the judgment of the court that you now stand convicted of that offense. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute section 609.04, counts 2 and 3 will remain unadjudicated as they are lesser offenses of count 1. As sentenced for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd. You are granted credit for 199 days already served. Pay the mandatory surcharge of $78 to be paid from prison wages. You're prohibited from possessing firearms, ammunition, or explosives for the remainder of your life.
Chauvin's family, including his mother Carolyn Pollenty, pleaded for mercy on his behalf, and Chauvin himself has appealed his sentence. However, all of these pleas have been disregarded, and the disgraced police officer is now destined to spend a significant portion of his remaining life behind bars. Now, 3 years after committing his heinous crime, what is Chauvin's life like? Reports indicate that he has visibly aged, with his once healthy and fit appearance becoming a thing of the past. Recent sightings suggest that Chauvin's hair has turned completely gray. Furthermore, there are signs of physical deterioration, as he is described as pale, and has reportedly gained a substantial amount of weight, as reported by the Daily Mail. In addition, it seems that Chauvin may not be finding camaraderie amongst his fellow inmates. One prisoner even went so far as to express that the best-case scenario for the convicted officer would be to face frequent physical altercations. Hannibal Shaddai, a 45-year-old serving a life sentence, stated that Chauvin will never be safe in prison due to his former occupation and the nature of his crime.